All right, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully all technical issues have been resolved with this sound. But joining me once again, I am Optimus Tom, he is Rapid, and we are ready to bring you this amazing game between Lzuruha and mTw.NA, formerly known as a picture of a goose. And we have already gotten some amazing picks and bans underway. So Rapid, while I'm making sure I don't have the little delay things up anymore on my screen, why don't you start talking about who's been banning, who's been picking, and what's going on?
All right, so check it out. We have Lzuruha versus Goose, as Optimus Tom just said. As far as picks are concerned, first pick for Lzuruha was straight out that Janna. Janna is just ridiculously strong right now because of her move speed buff assists junglers that don't have gap closures like Lee Sin or Xin Zhao. And you see they already picked up Shyvana, who already has a lot of move speed as well. So that plus the 3% move speed is just going to be ridiculously effective. Probably going to see a Caitlyn coming out here from Lzuruha just because Digester's Caitlyn is ridiculous. Caitlyn does have some limitations, but just a really strong early game, and he definitely knows how to press every single one of those advantages. Although we will see what's happening as far as mTw.NA is concerned. They did go first pick Lee Sin and Udyr. Now Lee Sin and Udyr is a ridiculously strong lane comp, or just a team comp, because you don't know where either one of them is going to go. If you put Lee Sin top lane, according to Voyboy, it's the strongest top lane in existence right now. But then again, every month he comes out with something else that's really overpowered top lane, and Udyr is just a really strong jungler as well.
Yes, definitely. I absolutely love the fact that the thing is, too, there's the mind game that goes on there. They don't really know who's going to be in the jungle, and they don't know how to pick around that. If they decide to try to counter Lee Sin up top and Udyr winds up going into the top lane, then they're going to have a more difficult matchup, whereas they do vice versa for Udyr and, in the top lane and Lee Sin in the jungle, and they switch it around. It's just so much harder to deal with, so it's a really cool mind game that goes on. mTw.NA just doing that, and actually right now, considering we're in the picks and bans phase, we really don't know who it's going to be either. So it's going to, like, just taking a quick look here, we said Lzuruha Gaming did pick up Olaf and Shyvana. Either one of those is going to be going top lane or jungle as well. So there's just little mind games going on the champion select, and I like it. It's like a cerebral assassin.
Cerebral assassin. Very well played there, but actually proving me wrong, going ahead and picking up the MF pickup for Digester. He plays AD carry for Lzuruha, and that's really good because the base stats for Misfortune are really strong. And actually, here's where the last pick comes into play. First pick gets you the champion you really want before the other team has a pick, and that would be Janna for Lzuruha. But you really are forced to pick your AP carry before your opponents pick their AP carries. And sure enough, you saw Mandatory Cloud go ahead and pick up that Galio, and that is it's a little bit of a counter to Brand. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, Galio, known as the magic resistance tank, going solo middle against a middle mage like Brand, who can deal a decent amount of damage and does have a crown control effect through his stun, if he can land his skills properly. Galio, though, he's just kind of going to sit there, put a bulwark on, and just kind of laugh at Brand as he's barely going to be hit for any sort of damage whatsoever. You might think that Brand with his fire spells would be dealing enough damage, but Galio, he's a gargoyle. I think he's pretty fire resistant. Don't think it's going to be very effective in the middle lane there. We finally see the swaps, everything going down. Smithy's going to be picking up Udyr in the jungle, putting Zuna up top with Lee Sin, and taking a quick look at Lzuruha Game. It looks like they're going to be having Shyvana in the jungle and Olaf up top against Lee Sin. Now, we did see in the previous round of 32, Curse Gaming's Pole Bolter went up top against, I believe it was Team Brutal Forces, I forget his name, I'm so bad at names, I'm sorry, but we had an Olaf versus Lee Sin top matchup last week, and Lee Sin just completely dominated that lane, and they even had a Shyvana jungler, and that Lee Sin was just able to harass upon Olaf, take advantage of the fact that Olaf really had to deal damage to himself with that reckless swing to lay any sort of damage down on Lee Sin, and even Shyvana coming in, the lack of crowd control in that lane just kind of let Lee Sin bounce around like the blind monk that he is, and it really gave him a hard time. So Rapid, how are you feeling about this Olaf versus Lee Sin up top?
Yeah, now if it had been Smithy going top, or Udyr going top rather, then Olaf definitely wins that lane a lot harder just because the true damage eats right through Udyr's shields, and, it's easy peasy. But as it is Lee Sin top lane, I really feel like Olaf is kind of like a Vayne in that sense. It carries really strong later on, especially with the new Maw of Malmortius item, but it really it gets really slow early game, and level 2 Lee Sin is ridiculously strong. In fact, there's a player on Team Green Forest, if you guys know about them, named Freddy, and he does this thing with Lee Sin where if he gets the right side, he'll pick up double golems or wolves first, and then he'll hit level 2 before his opponent hits level 2, and it's insta-jib. It's just like there's nothing you can do. Especially, he's not going that Silsong Absol build where you get heal ignite and then just GG win your lane. So he's going a little bit more moderate, but Lee Sin with 2 summoners who's not jungling is still a really, really scary thing to say. And I got to give this one to Zuna, although Talandra is a pretty beast top lane himself. So I think it's definitely going to be even, but I give a slight edge to Lee Sin.
I'm going to have to give a slight edge to Lee Sin as well, not only for the sustain from his Safeguard Iron Will combo against Olaf's Reckless Swing and True Damage, even though he damages upon himself. I just think with Xmithie coming out of the jungle as Udyr is going to be one of those champions that is probably going to be following around Shyvana, whether it's in the jungle or out of the jungle into the lanes that each other are ganking. That thing is, Shyvana has a lot of damage she's going to be able to lay down, but because of Lee Sin's sustainability and the shield he gets, and Udyr's hard crowd control with the stun coming out of bear stance, and people keep forgetting that that Phoenix stance is going to be dealing AoE magic damage on everybody that he is just basically standing around. So even when the junglers come into effect, I think Lee Sin just has that top lane all to himself.
Yeah, a lot of people think Udyr's an attack damage guy, but he really deals all magic damage, so it's really hard to build against him as far as that's concerned, because it does deal AD as well. So I think it's going to be a really interesting matchup, especially to see the ganks come into play, because you do have Shyvana ganks aided by the Janna move speed. But it is about 30 seconds until this game is going to get underway, so I guess now would be a good opportunity to mention that this is the Leaguecraft ggClassic presented by Gaming.Stack Exchange. So you guys should definitely go there and check that out. I think we have just enough time to finish talking about what that is. Why don't you go ahead and give us a quick wrap up before we start into this game?
Oh, but of course, very nicely played, Rapid. But always don't forget to check out our amazing sponsors over at Game.StackExchange.com. Without them, of course, it wouldn't be possible to run the GG Classic and bring you guys the best amateur and professional teams that North America has to offer. They host an amazing question and answer site for video games of all stripes, not just League of Legends, but if you fancy StarCraft 2, Skyrim, or Mass Effect 3, many more games also on that website. If you have a question about any game, head right over to Game.StackExchange.com to get a quick and thorough response. However, that is not the only thing they're going to be doing for us, Rapid. They're doing some awesome other things for our viewers as well. Do you know what they're doing?
That is right. They're actually having a contest currently right now, and if you do go ahead and ask or answer a question that is the most viewed or the most highly upvoted, then you will be in the running to win a $250 graphics card and or entered into a raffle for 3,500 Riot points. So both of those things definitely something that you want to pick up. I'd love to go do that myself. Unfortunately, I'm casting this tournament right now, so make sure to go stop over there, ask questions, answer questions. Tons of knowledge bombs left to be dropped there, and so make sure to go check that out and win yourself some awesome prizes.
Yes, indeed. But ladies and gentlemen, even though Stack Exchange is amazing, you know what's more amazing than that? An awesome game of League of Legends, which has just begun between Lzuruha Gaming down here in the blue and mTw.NA, going to be going on the purple or red side. Depends if you have colorblind mode on like me or not. So I may be confusing those two colors throughout the remainder of the game. But we see right here, it looks like that we're going to have Shyvana starting over by blue buff. I don't know if I agree with that, or maybe they're just going for some sort of invade on the opposing team's red buff. What do you feel about this?
Yeah, Shyvana can do pretty much any jungle pattern she wants. They are going to go for the invade on the red buff, just a really strong start for Shyvana, because she can get over to her own blue buff fast enough to keep from being counter juggled. Now, there's a really strong difference here between the two teams' playstyle. That is a loud dog, and these playstyles are almost as efficient in that looks like, yeah, they're just going to try to either ward up. Yeah, there goes the ward down there from Atlanta. And Atlanta's actually playing Nunu. He has switched over to the support role. Balls, who used to run top lane, is now actually running the bottom lane AD carry. And in place of their top lane, they will be going ahead and picking up Gosu Zuna, previously of a team It's Gosu Esports, will be now on mTw.NA. So looks like Lzuruha is just going to back on out of that jungle after having dropped a ward at red, and that's what you do. You put a ward down, and then you run back to your own buff just so that you can have that excellent counter jungle timing, because that's pretty much what Shyvana does. She beasts anyone at level 2, hits up blue buff, and then runs straight to your red, and I think that's going to be a really strong counter jungle option for her this game.
I think it is, but we see up here Misfortune really hiding around the top lane. Olaf looks like he might be going bottom lane. Do you think we're going to have a top and bottom lane switch coming out of Lzuruha Gaming?
Yep, that's what it looks like, and this is something we saw out of both Curse and Moscow 5 during both IEM Hanover and IEM Kiev. You switch the top lanes up. That pretty much means that you're saying, one of our lanes is going to lose, but the other one is going to win even harder. And so that's another good thing about having Miss Fortune. She just chunks people so hard. Level 1 has a lot of good move speed, which makes her okay for top laning, as it is the longest lane in the game. So I think that this switch up is something that Lzuruha did have in mind ahead of time as they did the non-standard lane comps. I think that they are really going to be able to pay off with this strategy.
Yes, definitely, because Olaf, as we were talking about in Champion Select, had such a not favorable matchup. I don't want to say poor, but a not favorable matchup against Lee Sin up top. Now it's going to be Lee Sin that has, you know, the hindered matchup against this Misfortune and Janna, who are literally just wailing away on him, forcing him out of lane, forcing potions to be popped already. Thankfully, he started with that cloth armor first, so he is going to be able to resist some of that damage. But impure shots from Misfortune, she does not have leveled up at level 1. We probably will see Digester maxing that probably as soon as possible, because that is going to be stacking magic damage on top of Lee Sin. I believe at level 5, if you hit someone 4 times in a row, it's almost like hitting them with a BF sword worth of magic damage.
Yeah, now a crucial thing to note is that Lee Sin did go 57 armor at level 1 to start, and that is about as much as you can get. You go quints, you go yellows and reds actually for armor, just going ridiculous armor, and that is meant to just like jib his lane super hard. Olaf actually started undertow first, so he can last it with the axe, and then went straight for the true damage. So that's going to be something that you will see as you know, a preparation for laning against a ranged lane. And so it looks like, you know, as much as I'd love to give this, you know, preparation to Lzuruha, they've done a really good job off of converting on their strategy. Gosuzuna is already down to about 350 health.
We actually saw up here, Udyr noticed that there was a ward or something was amiss as people started moving around from Lzuruha Gaming. Udyr stopped his own red buff and is now currently counter-jungling Shyvana's red buff. So red buff steal going down on both sides. Very nice heads-up play over there by mTw.NA or Goose. I'm probably going to use both names throughout the entire game, so, you know, don't shoot me for semantics, ladies and gentlemen. But counter-jungling game going on early. We even saw Ezreal and Nunu coming over and taking the mini golems from Lzuruha's bottom lane at the beginning. So just so much counter-jungling going on. There's so much it's just so much of a mind game going on in this game. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, speaking of mind games, this bottom lane, Olaf, has both top and bottom lane, respectively, started cloth in 5, and that's just a really good I don't want to die to what you have to offer. But Olaf still has 4 potions, whereas Lee Sin is down to just 0, actually just now popping his last one. And look at all of that damage going on to his face. The Jester keeps taking turret shots, though, so that is not what he wants to do. He started Boots 3, and actually is forced to use the very first of his potions, whereas the last potion being used from Atomic, he will run down there, pop a ward in the Tri-Brush, just to keep himself safe from any ganks. But right now, there's absolutely nothing left in Lzuruha's jungle. Top jungle has spawned for mTw.NA, but red buff still hasn't been cleared out yet by Udyr, so he's going to need to do that in order to allow that to respawn.
And you see he's going over here, realizes that there are 2 little lizards left in his camp, and just going to grab those before he goes up. I don't know if he's going to be going to get these golems or going for a gank. He is extremely low right now, so I can only imagine he's going to be continuing through his jungle until he actually goes back. We didn't actually note the fact that Udyr started with boots and 3 health potion in his jungle, not opting to go for cloth armor or any other sort of build. So he is now opting to go back now, whereas that Shyvana opted for cloth armor and 5 health potions, now picking up the vampiric scepter. So a little bit different builds coming out, letting Udyr go back a little bit later than that Shyvana. So counter jungling is going on, different jungle patterns, different items to start out with, and whew. There's not much like action and kill wise going on right now, but there's just so much technical stuff going on in this game. This is what you get when you get 2 really high level teams together into a tournament game.
Yeah, speaking of the technical things that don't really matter all that much,
I'm sorry,
bottom lane
interrupt you.
got chunked.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say.
Lane.
Bottom lane just got destroyed as Olaf, unfortunately, went to go grab some CS and then got caught out of position with a very nice Ice Blast from Atlanta's Nunu. And, you know, that Ice Blast has a decent enough cooldown that if you don't have someone with Flash up or something on him to get out of there, Olaf did have Ghost, but unfortunately Ghost is going to get slowed down after he pops it, and the Ice Ball is going to be taken from that speed movement percentage as well. So, unfortunately, ooh, I'm sorry, I completely missed something going on in the middle over here.
That was Shyvana attempting a counter jungle. Mandatory Cloud ran up there. Excellent coordination between Smithy and Mandatory Cloud. They noticed that as soon as Shyvana went into their jungle, Udyr's like, hey, there's something up here. And then they both instantly converged there. And here comes down the ult from Mandatory Cloud. Slushy did get caught there, an instantaneous flash after, but the counter flash and the slow there from the Resolute Smite will be enough to pick up the kill. So an excellent job there by Mandatory Cloud, just saying, I want to push this button now, and you're going to die. And a really good job by Slushy trying to get out of there instantaneously flash right afterwards. But it looks like this could be a 7-minute dragon. CV did go off, and that probably will signal mTw.NA to back off of this. But now that Atlanta and Balls are here, they will be able to contest this. This is the weakness of having, you know, 2 top, 1 bottom. You really can't do anything against Dragon. Now, Smithy is really low, but there's just nothing that Talandra can do. He's only 1 person. Top lane can come down. There's the jungle. Did they steal it? No. Was not stolen in time.
It looks like there's a little bit of a misflash there by Ted Stickles. Shyvana coming in. He kind of flashed into the wall instead of flashing in front of it to get the extra little distance gap closer to wind up picking up a smite on Dragon. And it could have been a smite kill, but ooh. Speaking of kills over here, Olaf now falling down to Balls on the bottom as after returning from that Dragon kill, they put the pressure onto Olaf, almost picking up a kill on Balls, but just not enough is that Nunu support just doing work, slowing down Olaf, not letting him get close enough to that Ezreal to really pick up a kill. And once he turns and runs, he's not able to get out of there quick enough because he is lacking that flash. Going for Ghost instead because Olaf normally, once he gets into that later stage of the game, going to be activating the ultimate, resisting all sorts of crowd control and just running straight at whatever squishy champion Goose is going to have. But I mean, they shut me up very quick. I said that this wasn't a very intense game kill-wise, but it's 4-0 all of a sudden. I said that like 20 seconds ago.
Yeah, it's only 8 minutes in the game. 4 kill advantage for mTw.NA, and that's a really, really strong start for them. Also, a really strong start has been Galio. Galio went back a couple times early on. Every single time he got up right to the amount of gold he needed to buy an item, he just hit B immediately, knowing that he could wave clear. And speaking of wave clearing, he is up 67 to 50 CS, so that is almost a 30 CS lead at less than 10 minutes into the game. So that has just been a really, really strong showing, and Slushy is going to have to burn his stun combo just to get Mandatory Cloud off of his back. Already up to 87 are magic resist on Galio, and that just means that Slushy got really counterpicked.
Yeah, you were saying earlier on in the Champions like how bad of a counterpick Galio was against this Brand, and just looking at that, Brand blew almost every spell except for his ultimate. Even with this blue buff on and the cooldowns reduced, it looks like that Mandatory Cloud's HP is not even budging. So just so much magic resist and no damage coming out of that Brand. He is now, like you said, very down in the farm game. Galio being an excellent pusher between his Righteous Gust and Resolute Smite, just dealing AoE damage, chunking down minion waves. And this Brand, he's going to need all the help he can get because Shyvana is going to be dealing a lot of physical damage out of the jungle. So if Brand can at least land a stun combo to get Galio, you know, in position for Shyvana to come and deal some damage, maybe he'd have a chance, but this Galio's level 8 compared to Shyvana's level 6 in the jungle. Look at her, she's even coming to deal some damage with Bulwark, bringing him up to, I don't even get a chance to check the armor, but she is going to pop the ultimate in here. Brand missing with the stun combo, however it is going to be enough damage to melt down that Galio, so Shyvana's DPS out of the jungle was enough to melt him down with the Brand spells being thrown in the mix. And now Nunu wanted to come up and help Mandatory Cloud in the middle. He's going to be caught out of position by Talandra, but Ezreal's ultimate goes down and hits 2 out of the 3 champions. They're going to wind up picking up a kill on Olaf. He comes down from the bottom lane. Double kill now as Balls picking up a kill on Slushy too. Are they going to be able to chase down this Shyvana? She pops Burnout to really get the move speed advantage she needs. She's going to be getting out of there, but whew, I don't know, man. It looked like it was going to be a little bit in favor of Lzuruha here. They might be going into the base. Look at this. Balls is tower diving down on the Ted Stickles. He is kind of stuck in between a rock and a hard place. Is he going to recall in the middle of their base? I don't know.
Yeah, there's not actually sight there. You cannot. Oh, actually, he's not in the space where there is no sight. There's one little space of shadow on both the upper and lower parts of your base. He was not quite in there, but Olaf just could not get that undertow out in time. So Balls just, you know, proving why he chose his name there, going deep into the base and actually making it out alive after diving down past the base turrets. You don't see that too often at 10 minutes into the game.
No, especially from the range carry who has a blue ball stolen off of the enemy team. It's just, oh man, I'm just so happy to be casting this game. How about you, Rapid?
Man, this is what happens when you put a team as good as mTw.NA up against a team like Lzuruha. Now, as far as think that Lzuruha is doing well this game, we do see Shyvana has 47 CS versus 59, so she's down a little bit in CS, but did do a really good job at assisting that mid lane. Bottom lane looks like it may need a little bit of assistance as well, as Balls picks up yet another kill on Olaf, and that's going to signal a lane switch that is really going to be necessary. Actually, Atomic trying to use the ult to knock knock Zuna out of there, but oh wait, he already had that Q on top of Janna and just used it to jump back in, picks up a kill on Janna top lane as well, but now Gosu Zuna is in a little bit of trouble, but manages to use all of that Lee Sin mobility to just jump on out of the way back to Smithy and make it out alive.
Yeah, we saw that Shyvana damage being enough to really take down Galio in combination with another champion. Speaking of Galio, he's just going to fall down onto Slushy and pick himself up a very nice kill in the middle there. With that Shyvana's damage and Miss Fortune's damage, did you see the shields on Udyr and Lee Sin? They got down, they were a little bit below half health and maybe hit a quarter health after that, after all the skills were being laid down from Miss Fortune and Shyvana, but between the two shields, there was just so much damage being absorbed that they didn't even fall below a quarter health in that fight.
Yeah, back in the day, it used to be all about the damage meta, then it switched to sustain meta, and now it really is all about those spell shields. Morgana's just been strong all the way, and now she's pretty strong too, but you saw all the spell shields there. It's a little bit like that Urgot Janna bottom lane. You just have, like 300-400 hit points of just free health from all of those shields.
Oh man, that sounds disgusting. That's just like, oh, you deal like 500 damage crits, that's about half my shield.
It's like, oh wait, I haven't actually taken damage yet. So Olaf's actually not going to pick up any of those double golems, but did get a little bit of experience as, auto attacks do give you a portion of that effective experience. Now, Atomic has started to do that M5 kind of roaming Janna thing. Top lane has not been going quite so well. Just going to go down, drop a ward for Brand mid lane. So Slushy needs all the help he can get right now. Already Merc Treads, Chalice, and Negatron Cloak picked up for Galio, sitting at 160 magic resist. That's just going to mean that if we go ahead and check out the magic penetration, sure, there's 29/10% for Slushy, but that's just off of masteries and penetration boots. Not going to be enough to get through all of that MR stacked up on Mandatory Cloud already.
Yeah,
top lane.
Ooh, top lane. We do have, it looks like Lee Sin overextending just a little bit. He wanted to go down onto Digester, but that roaming Janna coming back into lane, popping the shield down, and it's that Lee Sin's going to want to get out of there. Even going to go back and just take these mini golems, it looks like, just to sustain himself back up that Safeguard Iron Well. Meanwhile, Goose is going to be coming down for another Dragon attempt. That Olaf is level 6, and that Ezreal is level 9, if not higher. So much more of a level advantage out of that bottom lane. He is at a severe hindrance as he can't even do enough to as much throw an axe into that Dragon's Den, as Goose is going to be picking up the second Dragon of the game.
Yeah, and Balls is just doing a it's just so dumb. There's nothing you can do about it. He's freezing the lane in the middle of the lane, and there's nothing that Olaf can do. Like, sure, the lane will inevitably switch towards, Lzura's side, but Olaf just can't go anywhere near that because Balls will kill him in like 3 hits. Already has BF Sword, gonna go that's double lift build where you just build straight damage, but mid lane, the Ice Blast will be enough to pick up the kill there. Slushy does actually get the turret shot on Atlanta to pick up that kill. Smithy actually will not go down here as the ult is enough to pick up the kill there on Shyvana. Olaf is coming in there, pops the ult as well, but Smithy is just doing a ridiculously good job at dodging everything. Finally pops his smite, and now that Talandra cannot be disabled, he actually has not enough health to do absolutely anything with Smithy. Will try to get that, but no!
Oh my
Mandatory
God.
Cloud picks up the kill underneath that turret, and that is going to be a Galio that is 4-1 with 120 farm. Yeah, he's gonna get really big really fast.
He's getting huge, and that Udyr with them happy feet, walking in and out of bushes, dodging everything that Olaf could do. I think he only got hit by 1 axe out of all the ones that wound up being thrown in that fight. Could not land the reckless swing down. The shield did absorb enough damage to keep him alive. Holy crap, even the Ignite not being enough to kill him. He's actually Ignite buff bugged right now. He has the little debuff above his head, but he's no longer ignited. I guess maybe, he got so low the game thought he did die, but no, he actually didn't. He's still alive. Wow, just an excellent job from Goose in that scenario. The new ultimate really started everything off. And even up top, you see Gosu Zuna just going into tower range against that Janna, now dealing damage on the Misfortune. He is getting severely low, though, so he has to pop the ultimate, really just to knock Misfortune out of there and survive. But, for a 2
bottom.
Bottom.
Yeah, middle lane, actually. Ted Stickles got chunked really hard there by just like the spell combo from Mandatory Cloud. There's just like nothing that's he could do at all. And now that Atlanta is sitting mid lane doing the roaming support as well, he's going to be clearing out wards, already has that Oracles, and that's a little bit of a meta shift. You used to see supports pick up Oracles, then it switched to junglers picking up Oracles, and now that the supports are roaming so much, once again, it's back to Oracles on supports, and you can see exactly how effective that is with Atlanta just clearing out 1 ward, 2 wards, actually just walks right by 1 more ward. There he goes, turns around, and will pick up that ward there for Lzura.
And then the thing is, this Janna and Nunu both have some sort of movement speed buff, which is going to allow them to really roam a lot, and even come in here and try to contest the jungle of Shyvana. Nunu's a support character. He's not supposed to be able to do that. That Shyvana's supposed to be super strong at counter jungling, and she's afraid of this Nunu coming in trying to take her race, and she wound up backing off. So, I don't know. Meanwhile, we see up top here, Udyr is going to be coming in to help Zuna, who's extremely low. Miss Fortune's going to get stunned, but she is going to be able to take out Zuna before anything else happens. Beautiful. John ult is going to be able to push Udyr out of there and actually getting creep blocked, so he's not able to really fall down upon that Miss Fortune, who got extremely low. So they do wind up picking up a kill on Gosu Zuna, and Xmithy's not able to do anything. Now walking into a Miss Fortune ultimate. Miss Fortune, you don't want to test your luck. You kind of want to get out of there. Udyr is not taking any damage from that ultimate. Now we see, looks like Atlanta wanted to go around the side here. Are they going to wind up tower diving this? They did this last time at Gallia to a lot of efficiency, but no. Looks like they're just going to let Janna and Miss Fortune recall. No, Janna stops the recall. So does Miss Fortune. They don't see Nunu coming. Nunu's coming in here now. Like Smithy taking so many tower shots. This might not be a very advantageous tower dive for Goose, as they're going to have to really hightail it out of there. We missed.
Speaking of advantageous tower dives, we got Mandatory Cloud being chased by Ted Stiggles. Ted Stiggles did get slowed there, but top lane, mid lane, they are converging all the way up here. It looks like Ted Stiggles will attempt to get the kill on the Mandatory Cloud. He's doing such an excellent job juking, but the flash and the E are going to be enough to pick up that kill. So congratulations to Slushy getting his second kill, or first kill actually, of the game. But Smithy's actually jumping in onto Ted Stiggles, does so much damage from Bear Stance into Phoenix Stance, and will pick up that kill. Smithy just does not like health this game. He's like, what's a health bar? I don't know. How does 1 HP?
I don't need help. I have shield, guys. Come on, we got this. We could go in there, but there's so many champions solo. Even on the bottom, we saw Balls being up a kill on that Udyr. He dropped to 90 health with Ignite on him, and then lived by auto-attacking minions through the ridiculous amounts of spell vamp he has from an Infinity Edge, just combined with a Doran's Blade and Vampiric Scepter. Those nerfs to Vampiric Scepter are not enough to let a 90 HP Ezreal die to an Ignite from an under-leveled Olaf, it looks like. So, just so many low HP champions. I really liked how the middle and top lanes converged onto each other into like one giant cluster of a team fight that was just, that just went on for so long. And excellent job by Lzuruha for really sustaining themselves through that. Excellent job canceling the recall to really start that team fight. It could have gone an entirely different fashion if the middle lane had converged on top lane and no one was there to really help them out. So excellent decision making. You know, I believe it was altogether a 1-for-1 or a 2-for-1 if you count the Olaf death on the bottom. So what could have been very dangerous is everybody was at like negative amounts of HP in that fight. Wound up only being, you know, not too much of a suffered loss for either side.
Yeah, interestingly enough, something I did learn from Gaming.Stack Exchange is that negative health does exist. I believe everybody that does have a ghost will be able to reach negative health. Sometimes it has a lot of glitches, so you can get double kills on people like Kog'Maw, just because you can kill him, and if he pops heal at the right time, the negative health gets healed back to positive health, so you can double kill Kog'Maw that way. So that's pretty slick. I've seen a couple of my friends do that before, so it's a little bit interesting. And one more, you know, super slick little plug in there for Gaming.Stack Exchange. So I feel like if they get to support us with $5,000, we can at least give them a little bit of love in the middle of this game. It is 4-15 as far as the kills are concerned, and right now Lzuruha is just pushed back to their turret. If we go ahead and check out the levels, you know, Slushy's 13, but Atomic and Ted Stiggles are both level 9, whereas everybody from Goose, with the exception of Atlanta, is at least level 12.
Ooh, and Talandra on the bottom lane, Olaf is still only level 8, just getting so abused by Balls' Ezreal, who is 13 in a duo lane. Even Nunu's a higher level than Olaf right now. So that switch up, as much as it really wanted to try to keep Lee Sin down, he is level 13. He still has a decent amount of farm at 124. That Olaf, meanwhile, on the bottom, 66 farm, just completely being outclassed on the bottom lane. Currently 0-6 to Lee Sin's 2-1. Goose takes the third dragon of the game. I think they just keep taking it as soon as the timer comes up, too. So they're just super, super coordinated this game. Even though, you know, they weren't super, super coordinated getting into the lobby of the game, they really want to take this game down and advance to the round of 8.
Yeah, now speaking of winning lanes, if you look at the top lane, you're like, hey, that was 1v2, and then you see who won the lane. And so Lee Sin is just the perfect counter pick to this strategy. I really feel like if Lzuruha had played a normal lane, they would have had a really strong chance at, you know, doing a lot better than 4 and 15, but Lee Sin just does so much better than Olaf does. And now Balls has already taken down the second tier turret in bottom lane. He's just AFK farming down there, and really good job there by Nunu to actually leave the AD carry so he does get full XP and you know, CS from his lane without having the support in lane there, but it looks like Talandra will be attempting to do something against Balls once again, just trying to clear out minions as fast as he can, but Balls, yeah, get some true damage, but still just in such a dominant position. Has that Vampirism Mastery engaged as well as massive spell vamp. It looks like mid lane, there will be Atlanta trying for an Empire in the middle of that bush, but did not have as much of an effect as, the TSM/Empire Nunu did, as, Slushy and Digester did get out of there alive. It looks like Lee Sin going hard in the paint, gets stunned, under turn, will fall down there. Excellent job there by Slushy, saving Digester and picking up the kill there on Lee Sin.
Oh my gosh, that was a little bit too ballsy. Not the player ballsy. Oh, these are mandatory clouds still going to be going down on Slushy. Is Ignite going to be enough? Yes, it is. So, oh my gosh, Goose's really aggressive nature. It didn't work out for Zuna in that part, but maybe because he's formerly of its Gosu, not entirely from Goose. But his tower dive didn't work out. We saw Balls' tower dive early on going extremely well for him. Mandatory cloud there, the tower dive. Balls just saying, tower diving no more. I'm going to clear out all the towers in my lane. Deal about 1/4 damage onto this inhibitor on the bottom and then fall back. So Balls just doing so well. And that Nunu, as you said, leaving the range carry to roam around and support the rest of his team. Also going to be going great with the fact that he has Boots of Mobility, Australias, and that Oracle still. Taking a quick look at the vision, Lzuruha's completely in the dark right now. They have no idea where Goose is going. And if we take a look at Goose's, they don't have the River Warden, but they have the enemy Jungle Warden because, well, they're completely on Lzuruha's side of the map right now. So they know exactly where their opponents are and are not. And they are just taking full advantage of this, roaming around, letting Ezreal farm up and fall back at will, and just really hindering down, keeping Lzuruha pushed back to their side of the river, not even far enough out to take any of their buffs. As Nunu roaming through the jungle is going to get a nice ice blast down onto the Janna. Janna's going to be taking damage now from Xmithie's Udyr. She's getting very low, but not low enough to fall. Actually, Olaf going to be dealing some decent amounts of true damage, popping that ultimate to chase down Xmithie, but Xmithie, as we know, does not die easy. Atlanta's going to get caught out of position as Slushy comes into the fray now, getting a nice stun combo off on him. Lee Sin, though, coming out of nowhere, is going to pick up the kill on Atomic and finally finish off Janna. Xmithie does get chased down by Olaf, but he's extremely low. Ezreal, meanwhile, is going to be looking like he's getting an ultimate across the map or something. I have no idea, but he wants to pick up a kill on Misfortune. I didn't even see where she was in that fight. Ted Stickles is going to fall as Zuna falls through that tower, and the tower died that time. Is a great success. Now look at Atlanta and Talandra chasing each other back and forth, but I don't think it's going to matter because it seems that Lzuruha has given up. Surrender vote comes out, and game 1 is going to go to mTw.NA, also known as a picture of a goose.
Wow, yeah, that was just a really awesome game. I don't know what to say, man. That was something else.
I don't know what to say either because I'm currently out of breath right there. That was ridiculous. But taking a quick look at the recap screen, the kills were 22-6 in favor of Goose. Taking a quick look at the recap, I mean, Balls on the bottom lane, 8-0 as that Ezreal, a 204 farm, has as much as the middle lane's Galio, who has a bunch of AoE spells to really farm himself up and get him to that point of dominance in the game, but just so much more farm. This Olaf, unfortunately, only at 75. That lane switch for Lzuruha not going the way that they wanted it to be, unfortunately. And that Lee Sin did fine in that 2v1 because of his Safeguard Iron Will, his sustain. He did get a little ballsy at some points of the game, but just being, a decent heads-up enough player to really survive, being 5-2 at the end with 147 CS. He's not really on par at Misfortune, but still 147 to her 190. Not bad when it's a 2v1 lane up top.
Yeah, Lee Sin, just like I said, perfect pick for that lane, and just absolutely amazing. So, that was game 1, and we will be moving into game 2 as soon as we get some invites going down. If I can go ahead and check, it looks like Lzuruha has already created the game lobby. They have sent out an invite, and I will go ahead and accept that. Grab in here on the co-caster spot. Looks like I'm casting with Ted Stickles right now, so hopefully you can go ahead and get in here. And while you're in the process of getting into the game, I think now would be a wonderful opportunity to thank our sponsors at gaming.stack exchange. This is the League Craft